What's good? What's good? What's good?
It's good, y'all. Back with another one.
Me back with another episode of Over the Counter Podcast. We are the good brothers of OTC. Man,
Mhm.
I'm excited, man. I'm a little pumped. I'm a little extra motivated, man. We got some things shaking and moving behind the scenes that I'm glad that things is moving in that direction, you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna see, the spotlight is never bright enough.
Mm-mm.
So, we gonna get to that a little bit later though. Today, man, the docket is light, man. It's light, man. We talking about trade wars. We're gonna dig into stagflation, job numbers, because them things are definitely not right. That's just my opinion. Bruh, the car market, you out of line. They foul. They
Despicable.
super foul. We gonna get into that. And we got some other stuff we gonna get into, like adjusting your plan. Don't want to pivot. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to keep going down a path that is not beneficial to you by any means. So, but yeah, like I said, the docket is a little light, but it is what it is, man. It's still enough to talk about, so we're gonna get right into it. These trade wars, though, man. Trump, like we said, ain't playing. He not playing. He going scorch earth. It's funny to me, and this kind of ropes into the car market conversation, but it's quite funny to me that Trump announced additional tariffs on any car that's not made in the United States, yet American car makers took the biggest hit.
Well,
So,
you got to take it to account when you're talking about that. If people really do their research on these cars, yes, we have some American-made car manufacturers, but from the research I've done, there are no car manufacturers that do not have some components within that vehicle that are foreign.
absolutely. Absolutely. I think it was GM, General Motors. They
Mhm.
have their biggest factories are in Mexico and Canada. Our two biggest ops right now. So in terms of trade, at least.
Mhm.
So there's that. Um, yeah, so I mean, what is that? I don't know. Trump had to know that, right? Trump
Did
had to know that.
Did he? Because we're watching CNBC and just following what's been going on with all of this trade and all that stuff like that. Word down in Washington is a lot of CEOs, car manufacturers, other people in different industries. Even according to CNBC, some people in his own administration. A lot of people are scratching their head and wondering, does he really know what he's doing does he really know what he's doing with this whole tariff situation? Because it seems like a lot of things are changing day by day, and we see a lot of things get pulled back. I don't know, man. And now we're talking about reciprocal tariffs. Before he said it wouldn't hit everybody, now it's going to hit every country. I don't know, man. This thing could get ugly.
I mean, no one likes the scorched earth approach, and we're about to get into the devil's advocate bag here. But let's look at the numbers. Okay, I guess we're gonna get into the car market situation because that's pretty much some of the major the major industry that's being impacted by Trump's tariffs, at least through this latest round. So looking at the car market in general, I'm pulling up some numbers right here real quick. So you have a lot of current delinquent rates, right? So the highest rate since the data had become or started getting collected in 1994, we are seeing a 6.6% of subprime auto borrowers at least 60 days behind. That's the highest it's been since we started collecting that amount of data. Okay. So not only are the people taking out the loan,
Hmm.
right? People going out buying these cars can't afford to even purchase that car in the long run. But the people that are writing these loans, they have to know that a large majority of them are going to go delinquent. I mean, because when you call these people subprime borrowers, they fall within a certain credit range, right? So their credit history has got to be in the gutter.
Hmm.
Yet you're still, you know, making these loans to these people who are highly likely not to pay. So there's that. Um, and on top of that, look at how much people are asking for in terms of vehicles. Like, I'll give you my example. I'm in the car market, or at least I was. I might be chilling for a bit because this ain't it, man. Um, I'm out looking at a vehicle. My boy hit me up. They got a 2023, I think. So 2 years. That's kind of pushing it already because I want my stuff brand new, right? 2023 Toyota 4Runner, blacked out TRD Pro package. So it's the top trim level of that year. 70,000 miles on it. Still asking for 50 bands.
Nah,
Nah.
no way.
At seven, I think the lowest interest rate that I got quoted was 5.99.
That's
Will
yeah,
be six
yeah.
on 50K.
Nah.
Nah, nah. I'm good, buddy. I'm good. And if I'm able to do that quick mental math, I guarantee you most people are not doing that. They're just going out, they're buying these cars, they're in these really tight situations, and they're making a terrible financial decision ultimately. So what I'm noticing is a lot of people they sitting on the sidelines. They're not really buying these vehicles at what these dealerships are asking for, bro. Like it's just not fiscally responsible at all. And I'm not understanding how these car dealerships are getting away with it. Personally,
Well, I think we've seen that, especially with Jeep, specifically Jeep, Dodge. We've seen these crazy markups. We've seen it all the way across the board, even with the Corvette a couple of years back. MSRP being one thing, and then dealers marking cars up 10, 20. I've heard ridiculous, even upwards of $30,000 markups. So I think it's crazy that it's still happening, especially when you go and look at these cars. And at this point, which of the time to another topic we're talking about, it doesn't even matter if you have good credit. It doesn't
oh,
even it doesn't even matter if you have substantial income.
right.
There there's a baseline for whatever it is. I think I just bought a Tesla, what was it? Almost 2 months ago. Top tier credit, income's not an issue, still got a 6.5% interest rate.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. Like they don't
I
you're
don't
getting
even think they looking at credit, bro.
you're getting
Like,
you're getting hit with that. And
oh,
it's the same thing when you're talking about buying a home. Luckily,
yeah,
I skated with that last November, but it's the same thing with homes, cars, and then if you look at delinquencies like you just talked about in regards to home loans and cars, they're all time highs.
right. And let's keep it a bean, bro. Looking at the numbers, when things get tight, the first thing people let go of is that car payment, bro.
Come pick
They
it up.
will let hey, they'll risk getting repoed when things getting tight just to keep that in their pocket. Cause cause bro, extrapolate that across all the things that we know people gonna have to pay for. You still gotta worry about putting gas in the car. You gotta worry about insurance.
And that insurance, according to statistics, where when you look at what inflation is affecting the most, car insurance is at the top of the list, number one. That's the most inflationary thing that people are having to pay right now. So you add on these ridiculous prices, your ridiculous interest rates, and then you turn around and have to pay almost basically another car payment in car insurance.
Bro, I left the company because they was about to charge me 700 a month for car insurance. The company I'm with now, way better, but it's like half the price. So it's like, how
100.
is one bro, dead ass.
That's not
Dead ass. I think it was like 705. Bro, I ain't made a move so fast in my entire life. I switched that day. I switched when the, like how is one company able to get away? And mind you, these are two really reputable companies. These ain't no like shade tree, less known type of insurance companies. These are well-known insurance companies. And one was trying to charge me 700 something dollars a month, and the other one is charging me like 386. I'm taking the 386.
Yeah, because mine is 354. But I think a lot of these things, car insurance, health insurance, a lot of these things is predatory, bro. That they know that they can hike these prices and they know it's something you have to have.
Absolutely.
You don't have it
Absolutely.
to a point where you don't have a choice.
Bro, and that's a topic for a different day, but we're going to talk about one day how predatory the practice of insurance is in general. Not just car insurance, but just insurance in general. But that's a different topic for a different day. But yeah, bro. But not only that, so that's just for the car, right? That's just for the car. We ain't talked about regular maintenance for the vehicle. We ain't talked about your day to day as far you need food. Where your groceries at? You know what I'm saying? Lo and behold, you got kids. So what's the daycare situation like? Are they going to school? Some people paying for, I mean, I don't care. I don't, most school options, at least the ones that we've looked into for our children, you have to pay something. There's no free school at least one that's worth it, in my opinion, because public school's out the question. And that might sound elitist, but public school's out the question. Um, but there's some type of amount tied to the every little thing, including school these days for young children. My parents would have laughed you out the house if you told them that they was gonna have to spend money on me to go to elementary school.
And,
Like that just wasn't happening.
and that's a whole nother topic too, because I was just talking to somebody the other day. uh, If you took all the money you take out of our checks for this taxes and spending on all these miscellaneous things, Social Security that's probably not even going to be around by the time we're old enough to receive it, and actually put that into public schools, actually put that into education and different programs, we'd be a lot better off, because we not even just talking about public schools as a country with the bottom.
Right. Straight up. Like education in general. Don't matter if it's private or public. We damn near in last place when you compare us to other countries. But again, different topic for a different day. But the whole point of what I'm trying to say is at a certain point, and this just goes to show you how disconnected most people that are pulling the strings are. At a certain point, it's almost unlivable for most people out here.
It is. We've talked about it before. 100 again. I know a lot of people don't make this. A lot of people make well under this, but let's just be real. Six figure, $100,000
Ain't
ain't that.
shit.
But
That's nothing, bro.
to keep it a being with the keeping up with inflation and the price of goods and services, that's really the to live a comfortable life. That has that. Granted, a lot of people can't make that, but to live a comfortable life, and we ain't even talking about living extravagant. None of
Right.
that. We're talking about a
Basic
comfortable,
stuff.
a house, your kids taken care of, maybe one vacation a year, if that. Just the basics. $100,000 is just getting by, just to be comfortable.
No, that's real. So I think I saw it on X. So I think it was in like 1980, 30K. So say, or even I think it was 1980, 1970. I can't remember. But imagine what your parents made back then, say 30K, right? Is equivalent to 160K in today's money. So that tells you how inflated the dollar is, right? In terms of purchasing power, right? 30K has lost its purchasing power by however many times that is to equal out 160K in today's money, right? And two, it just goes to show you that, like you said, 100,000, anything less than 100K,
Scary.
it that I don't understand. I don't know how most of these people are making it if they're making under 100K for real.
It'll be ugly for me. I ain't gonna lie. It's
Hey, bruh, I would not be on this YouTube channel. I'll tell you that. I'd be out hustling somewhere. I'll tell you
absolutely.
that. So with just looking at it from that lens, and this is why I tell people, especially on social media, fam, you don't have to know somebody's business. You don't have to be pocket watching necessarily to zoom out and take a look at the overall landscape and be able to tell most people out here struggling.
Even the ones that's making multi six figures. You know, you got lifestyle creep. More money, more problems is not a lie.
No, that's real.
It don't matter if you even if you don't keep up with lifestyle creep. If you ain't keep even if you ain't keeping up with the Joneses, more money naturally, the more things you're going to acquire. The you know it, Stuff is too expensive. It don't matter. It don't matter who it is. People I know who make $500,000 a year still crunching down to the penny.
Now that lifestyle creep is something crazy.
But
To be
it,
making 500K a year and still
but
it's crazy.
you gotta think just like you said. Okay, you're making 500. Okay, I want to get a nice house for me and my family. I want to live in a certain
Yeah,
area. I want my kids to go to private school. We gotta have cars. We want to do this. We want to do that. I want my kids to play sports. I want to pay for trainers. Granted, some of this stuff you can go without, but
right.
nothing I just named should be a luxury. Just
No, I agree with that.
regular everyday stuff. And we'll have to talk about this another day too. I think a lot of the problems we have, especially in America, is due to the greed, just capitalist society. But I think a lot of the issues are due to greed. People want to, especially since COVID, people want to charge outrageous prices because they can, forcing people into bad situations, forcing people into. There, it gets to a point. Some things just shouldn't be.
Allowed.
It
Right.
doesn't make any sense.
Right. Nah, like that is real. Like I will say this. So I get it during COVID why the price of things were increasing. You got supply shock, all types of stuff, people losing their job, whatever. Let's just go to the haircut. Haircut went from $40 to $50 in a blink of an eye.
Yeah,
And it's like, wait a minute, bro. It's not COVID no more. Like, I I don't know. Obviously, you got to look at the overhead of the barber. You got supplies, stuff like that. But fam,
it's the same haircut
at
I was
what?
getting before.
Well, not only that, but it's like it's not a supply shock anymore. Y'all have plenty of whatever y'all selling now. So why? And maybe it's the consumer's fault. Why are we still buying?
But it's greed though, because they know a lot of these things people need. People
Yeah,
people want. It's essential, especially some people's business is essential to the way people live. You talk about medicine, healthcare, you talk different things. There's every season my son plays football, I spend 1,000 poof just to play football, just to play a sport. It
right,
costs thousands of dollars for the kids to even play recreational sports nowadays. Literally.
right. Bro, and that didn't cost it did not cost me that
No.
much to get some cleats, a ball, and a jersey and pay for team pictures. It did not cost that much. I'd say when we were kids, I think we got off with 150,
Yeah.
$200.
All you need, you play football, or you at the Boys and Girls Clubs. I played the Boys and Girls Club back then. Hey, we got these hand-me-down helmets, shoulder pads.
Right,
Go buy your shoes, you win the game.
right, right. I don't know, dog. And that's another thing. Like, I ain't even. I mean, we looking at sports for this coming summer, but it's like sports and school. It's like, fam,
I'm,
I'm paying college tuition.
and your boys is around the same age, so you double. Oh, they both playing for
Double. You might as well hit me twice.
2,000. 2,000.
Yeah. No, but like it's ridiculous out here. And and that's like you said, those are things that should not be considered a luxury.
Oh,
My boys being able to be in position to get the best education possible should not be a luxury. Any kid should be able to go to whatever learning institution that works best for them and be cool, right? Sports. I mean, sports was damn near free when we was
you
kids.
want them
Nowadays,
sports. You want them playing sports out on the street.
right. And that's the angle that they take. You gotta and I don't like that everything is pay to play now. Everything is pay to play, bro. Mainly because it costs so much. It costs so much. if things were I don't even expect things to go to pre-pandemic prices. I know we've gone off on a whole tangent, but I truly believe the new normal in terms of inflation is a range between 2 and 4%, maybe even 4 and 6. Lower lower on the 6 side, because I would think like 4 to 5.5 maybe on the bad side of things, but 2 to 4% on the good side of things. I don't think we're gonna see 2% for a while, but
Oh, I think that 2% number is gone, bro. We've been trying to get down to that for years at this point, and it's just not gonna happen. And I think,
the closer we got, the worse it got.
yeah, I mean, because you're getting to the point to where you're trying to force it at that point. You're not. It's like when you're trying to lose weight and you plateau, but then you got
Right,
to start starving yourself, literally starving yourself, to get them last couple of pounds of fat. You can't do it. It's not healthy. It's
right.
not gonna work. I think, but like you said, that's off on a whole another subject. But
Bro, but I mean, while we on the topic of inflation and um interest rates, obviously we know about inflation, but I don't think the people really know the other side of things, what it can really look like when it gets bad. And I think this is where we're heading towards.
yep.
Not there yet, especially if you want to start talking about numbers, but stagflation. Stagflation is essentially where you got high ass interest or high ass inflation combined with high unemployment with low to no GDP growth.
I,
Market just not growing.
I would say we basically already there. We fit the
I
criteria.
would have.
Let's just go through it. Do we or do
All
we
right.
do we not have high inflation?
Yes.
Slow economic growth, GDP growth. Would you or not say that it has been on a decline or at the very least stagnant?
I would more say stagnant than decline,
Okay.
but I would have to see year over year for Q1 because Q1 is over today.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
So I would like to see year over year Q1 before I give a definitive answer.
But even in $36 trillion in debt, I would say we still fit that criteria. And then as far as high unemployment, job loss, slow job creation, it has already been proven that majority of the job spike, the job numbers, a lot of those were government jobs. And
Yeah.
now, for those of you that don't know, when you're talking about the job numbers, that's a lagging indicator. So we don't even know, we won't even feel or see the true effects of all of these federal workers being fired and all of the other layoffs and things that are happening amongst other companies. We won't even see those true numbers probably to 6 months down the road.
Yeah. I mean, I would expect it to impact Q2 numbers. So that's another 3 months. But what I also would be interested because I think I've said this on the pod. I don't think any of these numbers are reported accurately.
Oh,
If you go back and look at the previous reports on these numbers, they've had to revise them several times after reporting them, right? So one thing that I think is absolutely misreported is the job numbers.
and it's not even real time. You'll give us job numbers today, and that's based off something that was 3, 4, 5 months ago. So
Right.
we're never even real time when it comes to job numbers.
But even before these federal job layoffs with Doge and all that stuff, I still did not think the job numbers were accurate. The reason being is because each report they were saying, "Oh yeah, we're adding jobs, this, that, and the third." And it's like, bro, where? Where? What I'm hearing is that Jim, Bob, and Sally got two and three different jobs. They work in two and three different jobs at the same time
And they don't
each.
and they don't tell you, okay, we lay off 1,000 workers that were making six figures. Oh, but we replaced those 1,000 jobs with people who are making fucking $12 an hour.
Right. Like that's
Not
not,
the same. That's not one for
bro,
one.
you didn't cover the loss
Yeah, that's not
And
most.
economic spin right there. So what is that? That does not equate. So I will be interested in finding out how truthful they report this next round of job numbers because you couple the federal worker layoffs
Mhm,
with the high possibility. I'm talking this there I am almost certain they were padding those numbers anyway
for sure.
with people who are working multiple jobs. Hell, some of my own friends work multiple jobs. Bro, like when I go outside, you cannot tell me it's good out there and that we just adding jobs to the market. How is that? How is that when I know people, quite literally, that are working multiple jobs to make ends meet? There's no way we are genuinely adding more jobs and taking unemployed workers off the books. There's no way.
Or go on Reddit or X. People that have 10, 15, 20 years in certain fields. We'll just use tech, for example. People with 10, 15, 20 years of experience, multiple certifications, work for this
Mhm.
company, that company. Thousands of people can't find work with those type of credentials.
Right. So I've done some recruiting before for the current company I work for. So I go to these college campuses from time to time, or I'll do like Zoom calls, whatever, to do like interviews and stuff. And fam, we are not one, the new generation, they're not really interested in working, which I don't blame them. They've seen people bust their ass
Yeah. For
for
that.
generations to end up broke anyway. So what's the point? I totally understand that sentiment. But at the same time, though, we aren't able to hire as many people like we did before. This is across the board. This is not company issue. So Gen Z specifically is coming out of college struggling to find work. Bro, I thought finding a job after college was gonna be one of the hardest nerve-wracking things that I could ever potentially go through at the time. That was the easiest shit ever. I had an internship job like that. These days, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. And more and more of the generation struggle to get into the labor force, we're going to have issues, especially as things increase in price. You have people who are of retirement age not retiring. So that's a seat. That's one less seat not available for Gen Z.
That plays another role. You talk about people not retiring. That plays another role into all of these tariffs and trade wars. People's 401ks have been decimated in the last 3 months. If you ain't looked at your 401k in the last couple, just go take a look.
Nah,
And
nah.
I've seen they just talking about that on CNBC. You're talking about people who are potentially getting ready to retire this year, and now that's put off for another year, 2 years potentially, waiting to see what's going to go on with this trade wars. So a lot of these things we're talking about, stagflation, the trade war, these things have real implications.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when you have, I mean, look at Japan. Right? So obviously their issue is a little different. Their issue is more so birth rates, right? But the crux of the issue is the same. You have most of your when you get to a point where most of your population is aging out, or in Japan's case, dying, and you don't have enough to replace to sustain your culture, or corporate terms, sustain your company, sustain your level of expertise, your knowledge transfer, all those things. I mean, they're already talking about projections of the Japanese culture in general fading away, being non-existent. What do you think would happen with a company that is having similar issues? They don't have enough fresh blood to replace retirees or those that would be retirees, right? So the more people that stay that should be retired, I mean, anything can happen when you get up in age.
Yeah,
You start having whole lot of people down on the job and don't nobody know how to do anything.
and I had a family member that her company paid her hundreds of thousands of dollars to stick around for a few extra years to train her replacement because if she would have left when she wanted to, they would have been in very bad shape.
Right, and more companies I foresee will be in that problem, or will be in that same predicament. And then just a couple of extra numbers while we on jobs and retirement and all that type of stuff. The unemployment rate is at 4.1%, bro. That's pretty high. That is pretty high. That's not high enough. Well, no, screw that. Any normal time, 4.1% recession instantly.
Okay, so you just prove my so I want to tie back to this stagflation because I want people to really walk away understanding what stagflation is. So we've touched on high inflation, that's a given.
Yeah.
And these are characteristics of stagflation. We've talked about slower negative economic growth. I think everybody can pretty much see that. And if you don't feel like we are there, you can. I think everybody can agree that we're at least headed there at the minute, at the very
Oh
least.
yeah, absolutely. I agree with that.
Also about high unemployment. You're talking about the numbers. We're seeing it every day. Company, oh, we're laying off this, we're laying off that.
Hmm.
Federal workers lay off. So let's get into a few things. What causes stagflation? Number one thing, supply shock. Now, what do you think? Would you not say all of these trade wars, tariffs, these are going to be extreme supply chain shocks?
Oh yeah, I'm looking at the car market specifically. Hey, hey, I'm gonna snipe my car. I'm gonna snipe my, and I'm not paying these ridiculous prices. Somebody gonna have to break.
Okay, so supply shock that leads to inflation and slower growth. Number two, poor economic policies. Do you think these tariffs in the way they're going about it, at the rate that they're going about it, because I've also been seeing a lot of people that voted for Trump, a lot of people feel like he's too focused on the tariffs and not some of the other things that he campaigned on. Do you think that the way he's going about these tariffs, at the rate he's going about these tariffs, the amount of countries that he's going at one time, do you feel like that could be looked at as poor economic policy? Or on top of that, the excessive money printing, restrictive regulation, the interest rate, that being lowered too fast, all of those things combined. The-
So Trump himself can't control the interest rates.
well, of course, but I'm talking about
Right.
all those things bundled together. Would you say that let's just say over the last 3-4 years, that we've had a pattern of poor economic policy?
3, 4 years,
Yeah.
yes. I
Okay.
can't blame that on Trump.
Okay. So we fit that mold.
Yeah, and the reason why I'm not blaming Trump is because, and I'll go on record for saying this. I think after the smoke is settled, Trump will indeed look like one of the best presidents we've ever had.
If things go as planned.
If
Because
things go as planned, yes,
you
but
can't,
it looked crazy now.
but you
It
can't
looks crazy. It
you
looks crazy.
can't ignore the elephant in the room in regards to China. We have still yet to feel he hasn't really won at them yet. And I think there's a reason for that. He
Yeah,
knows
because you gonna feel that. And let's be real.
April 2nd ain't came and we ain't win at China yet. We haven't even felt the worst of this thing.
Right. And that's why I say, because Trump, bro, Trump is smart. You're not dumb by any means. Maybe, you don't necessarily have to be the smartest person in the room, but you don't get to certain places by being stupid. I'll say that. Um, I think Trump's scorched earth approach
Mhm.
looks crazy right now, but I do think ultimately it will be the thing that puts us in position to make a crazy play.
But you also agree that if things go as he plans, yes, things should be better on the other side. But at
Right.
the same time, he can't control all of the variables, i.e.,
Right.
what these other countries decide to do in retaliation. That's the variable right there. What are they gonna do in response? That's what that's what we should really be focused on. Not necessarily what we're gonna do to them. What are they gonna do to us, and what are the implications gonna be for America? And
Well, we know it's gonna be tight. We know it's gonna be tight for a minute.
I think
But
that's an understatement.
yeah, 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 it could be. But this is what I mean though. This is what I mean. I don't think you're really too worried about what everybody else, and this is what I'm saying. Trump is not a reactionary type of guy. He's going to make his move and keep it pushing, right? Everybody else is worried about reactionary this, reactionary that. I think even with the reciprocal tariffs, I think that was already part of the playbook well before it was announced. Well before it was announced. So Trump he comes off as a guy that's going to make the first move, and he's going to make the most noise about making the first move, which naturally puts this pressure and onus on the opposite side to react. Which anytime you find yourself reacting to things, you've already lost.
I can agree with that in regards to maybe a country like a Canada or Mexico or some of these smaller countries. When it comes to China, I think a country like China, I would be more afraid. So when I think about us going back and forth with China, I think of it as like a bully, fight. I say you fight somebody that's scary, a scary person. You never know what they might do. They may like just go extremely crazy out of fear or whatever.
Right.
Go- Going at China, we could be at a 5, and their reaction come in all the way at a 10, and things just go left. They already letting them know before he even gets started. We see what you're doing with everybody else. We're gonna proactively let you know whatever you're on. We're on that. We're willing to take it wherever we want to go,
Right.
and we're not playing.
And that could be a play that China goes with. But again, what if that's already accounted for? Because let's go back a few episodes. I talked about how Trump's been saying credit card interest rates too high. The national interest rates in general too high. He's specifically pointing at these things that Jerome Powell has a hand in controlling. He's even directly called out Jerome Powell, right? So what does that mean? At least the way I'm interpreting this. Trump is going to do anything he can to influence monetary policy, or I'm sorry, fiscal policy, to the point where Jerome has to do what Trump wants him to do, which is what? Lower those rates.
He's not budging so far though.
That's cool. When have we ever known the Fed to be quick on their feet? The Fed and Jerome typically wait till damn near the last second
Yeah.
to make their move. So I expect with this current rate, there's a couple possibilities. The rest of the year could look like it does today
Mhm.
and get increasingly worse, or the Fed makes a move Q3. We don't see the impacts of that move till Q4. 2026 looks like a totally different year.
Okay, so let me play devil's advocate. That happens, and this plays into another cause of stagflation: rising costs without growth. You can lower interest rates, but if the price of things are still outrageous, people's wages aren't keeping up, we would still be in, because the plan is to, even with the start of these tariffs on April 2nd, he's also talking about that's also when the external revenue service is supposed to start. So if the plan overall is to, put some of these tariffs in place permanently, and make some of these countries, pay up, then if that's the case, then I think it would take a lot longer than a couple of quarters for America to, kind of catch up to that, or
Mm.
get to a place where we kind of reach an equilibrium where it's kind of like I think it's gonna take a lot. I think it's gonna take a lot longer than that because
Do you have assets?
we do, but everybody, the average person does not.
I'm not gonna say what I would normally say, but hey, not everybody can go.
But code is
Hey, hey, we spend an hour or more every Monday putting these people on game.
yeah,
I'm not saying this. I mean, I'm not. I love doing this. I'm cool with this.
yeah.
I get a joy out of this, but I'm not saying this to hype myself up to do what I know I need to do. I'm already doing it. I'm just spreading the word. So if people really want to better their lives, they have to stop doing what they've been doing this entire time, which had nothing to do with investing in assets. They kept all the people's and most people's entire net worth is denominated in cash. You are asking to get bent over.
But if we see further rise in costs and no job growth, no salary growth, it'll eventually get to a point to where if people can't, 'cause right now I get you could say, granted different people's situations are different, but you could say, okay, you cut out a couple of things, you could, free up some money to invest. Prices rise another 10, 15% off of these tariffs and all these things that's going on. Now you're talking about that extra money that people would normally have being absorbed by those prices rising. So you're gonna be pricing. I'm going to work probably 80% of people out of investing altogether. They just trying to survive. They just trying to make it. Like they didn't cut out the Netflix gone. We down to one car, ain't no vacations. We doing just enough to get by out of necessity. You ain't got no room to invest. Dollar cost average
Absolutely.
what?
No, that's real. That is real. But uh unfortunately, if you've been looking at the trajectory of where we've been going, the middle class it was always baked in to have the middle class get erased. So, I mean, yeah, unfortunately, I think the powers that be have a goal of pricing 80% of the population out. That's an unfortunate reality. And I'm not trying to be insensitive or, nonchalant about it, but I mean, I realized this reality years ago.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the reasons why not only we came up with this platform, but personally, why we put such an emphasis in our own personal lives, not just talking about it, but actually doing everything we can, every dollar we have to spare outside of living a comfortable life, providing for our families to invest.
Absolutely. Bro, I mean, I don't do a whole lot of just extra. Like if it's not making my home or my space more comfortable or investing, I'm not really doing a whole lot extra with my cash. That's free,
Yeah.
free to spend on whatever. Um, and that's just the lifestyle that I've learned to live. Like I don't really live in excess. I mean, hell, uh, we balled out on the vacation, but I mean, sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you got to do that to really enjoy yourself. And that's not a we. I mean, I don't go on vacation all the time.
Mhm.
It, honestly, I'm shocked that we about to go on two other vacations this year. That's usually not the way for us. But hey, things a little bit different. So yeah, unfortunately, I do think the ultimate goal of the powers that be is to price out 80% of the population. I mean, hell, you talk to most people these days anyway, before things are even anywhere near that bad. I mean, we're talking like if things were to keep going how they've been going. This is hypothetical, not doom and gloom, none of that, at least right now. You talk to most people right now about investing, they look at you side eye. I mean, we just had a conversation last night with a gentleman,
Mhm.
and that blew me. Just really. coming to a realization that most people really don't have their head wrapped around investing, and they're holding their cash, which is every day getting less and less in terms of purchasing power. They'd rather hold on to that cash instead of investing in something that has a proven track record to bring growth.
And what's crazy is it seems like a lot of times, even with some people know about investing. They
Hmm.
may not be fully, entrenched in, all the particulars, but they know what they should be doing. They know what's out there. They know the type of investment vehicles they can be in. But I think what holds a lot of people back, on top of the lack of information, is fear.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
People have an extreme attachment to the money, when the saying "it takes money to make money," that's not a lie. Doesn't matter whether you're an entrepreneur or business, but it takes money to make money. You
Right.
have to use money what it was designed to be, a tool, a bargaining chip. It's not meant to hoard.
Right. That's what you got other assets for, which is a great segue into our last topic, which is knowing when to adjust your plan. Right. So for the people that, like the instance from last night, you got this bread, you got plenty of bread, you're clearly financially disciplined, right? Um, you have a means of investing, but you're asking, damn, what can I do to get ahead further? Oh, well, invest. Well, I don't want to do that. I want to keep my cash. Well, don't ask for a solution to your problem and then be mad at the solution. And that's not necessarily for that
Yeah.
particular individual. I'm talking about generally, right? Like a lot of people, when they come to me about investing advice, you give them the advice and they get more mad at the solution than the actual problem.
Or because I had somebody who asked me about, getting into investing, and they ask questions and they pry, and you tell them about different things, and okay, you should do this, and these investments are at a good price to buy, dollar cost average, yada yada yada, this that. And then they give you pushback and rebuttals. Oh, but it's dropping. Oh, but do you know about the stock market, or do I? You
Right.
just ask me. I'm telling you what I think, what I'm actively doing. I'm showing you the numbers. I'm showing you the track record. I'm showing you the historical data, what's going on, the things that are going to transpire. I'm showing you why these companies, I'm telling you, why these ETFs I'm telling you to invest in, why they are extremely intertwined into the future success of America. Trillions of dollars being poured into these companies, being poured into these industries and these sectors. And you're telling me about why, oh, I don't know if I should do that. The price is dropping. Or, come
Hey,
on,
that's
man.
the best time to be buying.
But people don't understand that concept. People don't want to buy something and I understand it makes sense from a logical standpoint. You wouldn't want, if somebody told you right now, "Hey man, you want to buy my business, man? We've been losing money the last 5 years. Would you buy?" Naturally, you would say no, right? But when you think about stocks, you can't think about it like that, because when you're buying stocks, when you're buying crypto, timing, price point, your entry, all of that is going to be incumbent of the amount of success, the amount of profits that you have within that investment. So you should be wanting to make your cost basis as low as possible. You don't want to be buying at 52-week highs.
Right. Yeah, you got to take an opposite approach when it comes to investing. Like, for instance, and this is part of the topic here, but I originally came into 2025 thinking I would split my investment capital 50% crypto, 50% stocks.
Mhm.
I was going to top off several bags in my crypto portfolio, add some new tokens I've been scoping, and start my stock portfolio to complement my crypto portfolio. But then the more and more I started seeing people get hella bullish on crypto as Bitcoin was hitting 100,000. It's on CNNBC every 5 minutes. everybody's talking about crypto, Bitcoin, XRP, and it kind of make you the more mature and experienced you get as an investor, that type of stuff makes you take a step back and be like, well, wait a minute, all the sheep they run in this direction. 9 times out of 10, they get slaughtered. Maybe I should go this direction. And that's exactly what I did. So as I started to see how Trump as a president, um, his first 100 days, he ain't even in 100 days. I think this is officially 90, maybe barely 90.
Mm.
Um, and these tariffs have really shaken the market, right? So I had to adjust my plan, right? So instead of building my stock portfolio, I started I replaced the stock allocation with gold allocation. And when I originally said that, a lot of people was looking at me kind of like, the hell's going on? That don't make any sense. Stocks going crazy, crypto's going crazy. There's so much buzz and this, that, and the third. There's only good things that are going to happen to the stock and crypto markets. What happened? We get what we got now. So it's all about knowing and trusting your experience when as you get it and as you get knowledgeable. You can't you can't stick to the plan all the time if the plan is already going to look like it's not going to work out. If before you really get down that road, it looked like that may not work out exactly how I thought it would. Let me go ahead and pivot. There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Gold is up 12, 16% was the highest I saw it year over year. I, I think that was a great move. I could have swapped or went with my original plan and doubled, tripled down into crypto, got my stock portfolio going. But if I've already made life-changing money over here, I may have to play defense for a short period of time before I can go back on offense.
Yeah, and I mean, we've been talking about stagflation all night. Two, I'll say three of the biggest things, the safest things, the best defensive plays when you're in a stagflationary period: commodities, gold, dividend stocks.
Yeah. You want them value stocks, bro. Value stocks do their thing during stagflation, man.
You
A lot of
want
people sleep.
you want companies high cash flow, strong balance sheets. You want gold, something that's not volatile. You want commodities, something that, regardless of any inflationary period, anything that's going on, we need those things. Those things, country runs on that.
Mhm.
So you want to be looking for, like you said, nobody's talking about gold. Everything's going crazy. Nobody's thinking about defense when you scoring 100 points, you can't miss a three. Nobody think about defense and except the smart ones. The smart ones that everybody got to know. I'm not gonna be on point forever. So
Right.
what am I gonna do when the tide turns? And there's two types of people. There's people who plan ahead. They're already working on their defensive play, having a plan. And there's the type of people when the tide turns, they get caught with their pants down.
Right. And I'll give you an analogy. So you got Luka Doncic, offensive weapon, right? Three ball all day, every day. But he can't play a lick of defense.
No,
So yeah, you didn't hit me with a three, right? But you didn't gave up six because you can't play defense. So what would you rather have? Being able to hit that three or being able to prevent me from scoring six on your head?
defense wins championships, sir.
Right. So personally, me, just me, I'd rather be like, an SGA. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that can pick their spot, hit the two, hit the three, hit an assist if they need to. But you can't sleep on me on defense. I'm going to get a steal.
And,
I'm
and
going to get a few blocks.
and this is the thing. It doesn't have to be one or the other. You can be building out defensive plays while you're building out your offensive plays. It does have to be one or the other. Things turn around. Mark is doing great. Like you said, it's time to pivot again. Things looking good. We're starting to get we're starting to reach an equilibrium. Things are balancing out. We got some balance with these tariffs. Things looking good. All right, let me start building out my stocks. Okay, now I got other investments, things, other positions that I built out. I'm gaining more profits. I want to pull some of those profits. All right, let me toughen them, stuck some tough. Let me stick some of them in my dividend stocks. Let me stick some more of that in gold. You're still building out the defensive plays while the offensive plays are doing their thing, still building that out. So have a plan. Don't be stationary. Don't want to be reactionary in the stock market. You want to be proactive. You want to have a plan. You want to know what you're gonna do, especially in current times, especially when we have what's going on with this current administration. You gotta be on point. Gotta be
Oh
on.
yeah. Bro, you can't get caught slipping out here, especially if you want to call yourself being an investor. You got to be able to, make pivots and make changes, all the time. And the thing about it, bro, is what be the main thing people complain about during times of high inflation or stagflation? Income. My income ain't matching. Well, fam, if you invest or you build up a solid section of your stock portfolio dedicated to dividends, you're gonna always have something to pay you some bread, right? There's a such thing as gold leasing, right? So you can own the physical bars and lease it out to somebody else. You can make a percentage on that. Different companies do that. So yes, I'm playing defense, but at the same time, in today's age, thanks to technology, you can play defense and a little bit of offense at the same time on the same play.
Because
Just gotta know what you're doing.
when you in those real economic downturns, the defensive play becomes the offense.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The defensive play becomes the offense. It protects you from volatility, protects you from those wild swings and downturns. And also another thing, another aspect, another way to look at this is when you have your defensive plays playing, doing what they're supposed to do. You talk about knowing when to pivot, knowing when to change the plan. Also know when to sell an asset and know when to
Yeah.
not sell an asset. If your defensive plays are, you know, protecting your portfolio, hedging you from those crazy downturns, you're not as apt to be selling at the wrong time.
Hmm.
Your portfolio is not down crazy amounts because okay, I'm not overly invested into these assets into tech, or I'm not overly invested into one crypto. I'm not overly invested into this industry or sector. I'm well distributed. I'm well distributed. I have my defensive plays. So my portfolio is kind of balanced.
Right.
Things going crazy. Okay, my normal offensive plays may be going down, but my defensive plays, they in the green. We looking at gold. We've been investing. All right, gold going up now. Gold definitely gold is on the offensive right now. It's not just protecting the assets, it's building them. So
Right.
you gotta have a plan, man. You have to approach it. You gotta be creative in this thing.
Bro, and not everybody's strategy is gonna work for everybody else. Like my strategy may not work for anybody else, and that's totally fine. But being able to sit down, almost get to know yourself and your goals, going back to investor identity,
Mm,
my identity should not be identical to somebody else's.
no.
That's just not how that works. So being able to sit down, I know myself, I know my goals, I know my investor identity. I make plays based on that. I block out the noise and I focus on what I got to focus on. That's quite literally all I do. And what most good investors do, right? What works for them, they know don't work for their homeboy. So they not in their homeboy's ear talking about, yeah, that ain't gonna work, man. You need to do this, this, and this. Because I
Somebody
already know this ain't gonna work for you.
somebody just asked us last night. Why are you more of a day trader and this and that, and why are you more of a long-term trader? I know my investor identity. I've tried the day trading before. I'm not patient enough. I know I don't have the time that it takes to do the technical analysis. I work, I have a son that's in sports, and I got all these obligations. I don't have time to do the technical analysis. I don't have time to look at the charts like I need to. And on top of that, I'm not patient. I've tried it before. Me not being patient has tricked me out of so many plays. So
Yeah.
I know having that have bump in my head, okay, that's in my investor identity. I know That's not for me. Could it be something that along the way, I get more patient, I get more time, something changes? Yeah, but right now, that's not my investor identity. I know I'm not patient enough. I don't have the time to put the work in, do the research that it requires. So that's not for me. But some people will know. Okay, man, I could be correct. I mean, I know I ain't got the time to look at the charts. I know I ain't got time to do technical analysis. I know I'm not patient. I'm gonna still do it anyway, and then I lose money, and then I'm act like investing is a scam, or I'm saying, or I'm telling somebody, oh man, don't day trade. That don't work. That don't work. You're just gonna lose money based off my reality. When they're all reality, their investor identity could be different. The way they approach things, their lifestyle could be different, which will lead to different levels of success in regards to different things. So that's important.
Nah, most definitely, that's real. Ultimately, lesson of the day, man, and we've preached this before. Just know your investor identity. It's getting thick out there. These tariffs ain't they not going away. We gonna be here a minute. Stagflation, we staring in the mirror almost. These job numbers are definitely inflated. The car markets, bro, y'all tripping. Y'all are tripping what y'all asking these people for. And if 40K is the national average of income,
It's 40K.
I think so.
That's sick.
40 to 50K.
That's sick.
There's no way you should be asking for 50K on a 2-year-old car with 70K miles on it with a straight face. If we talking national average, bro, there's not too many. Most people bro, come on, man. Anyway, bro, I'm
Don't
gonna
be
get off that.
don't be making 40K and your car costs more than you make a year.
Nah, for real
Come
though,
on, man.
for real, bro,
That don't
for
make no sense.
real. Yeah,
If others ain't gonna tell you, we gonna tell you. That's crazy.
yeah, you tripping, bro. I'm
Get
clowning.
it together.
I'm clowning
Get it
because your
together.
priorities ain't straight, man.
Yeah, man.
So
Get it
so
together.
man, that ain't cool. That ain't cool. But yeah, man. This was a good episode. We kind of went off topic, but we still hit every topic. You know,
So main points. We talked about what's the first thing we talked about
was
was
the tariffs. We hit the tariffs off rip.
April 2nd, retaliatory tariffs go into effect. I'm sure we'll talk about it next Monday. We'll get the fallout. We'll see what transpires going on for the rest of the week. I'm sure we won't have any shortage of news and retaliatory tariffs from other countries and press conferences and
Hmm.
all that type of stuff. So we'll definitely be looking at that. We're definitely going to be keeping up with the status of inflation, seeing if we'll officially get to stagflation. We're paying attention to those job numbers and just keep your eyes open, man. We do got an announcement coming up. Tomorrow's the first, so we might need to
We
put some.
might we might need to go ahead and put that out there. Yeah,
Yes,
we might
sir.
have to put that out there. We'll come up with something.
Mhm.
But with that being said, man, I hope y'all found this video informative. I hope y'all found this episode entertaining. And yeah, we'll catch you in the next one.
See y'all.
Peace.